Welcome back to Valuable Coins, your trusted source for everything rare, valuable, and collectible in the world of coins. Today's episode dives deep into all extraordinary United States coins that have captured the imagination and wallets of collectors nationwide. These coins stand as testaments to American history, artistry, and the ever-changing landscape of coin collecting. Let's begin our journey with the 2009 Abraham Bicentennial Formative Years coin, a coin that pays tribute to the early life of one of America's greatest presidents and has become a highly sought-after collectible. This 2009 Abraham Lincoln Bicentennial coin is part of a special series issued by the United States Mint to commemorate the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The coin honors Lincoln's formative years spent in Indiana, a state that played a crucial role in shaping his character and leadership qualities. These years are often seen as pivotal in Lincoln's personal development, instilling in him values of hard work, honesty, and perseverance that would later define his presidency. The 2009 series consists of 4 different reverse designs, each representing a different phase in Lincoln's life: his early childhood in Kentucky, formative years in Indiana, professional life in Illinois, and his presidency in Washington, D.C. The coin we focus on today captures that vital Indiana period. The design on the reverse features a young Abraham Lincoln standing in front of a log cabin, a symbol of the humble beginnings and frontier spirit that Lincoln embraced during those years. The intricate detail in the cabin's logs, Lincoln's figure, and the surrounding natural elements demonstrates the artistry and craftsmanship of the U.S. Mint designers. The obverse of the coin retains the classic portrait of Lincoln by Victor David Brenner, a design that has graced the penny since 1909, the centennial of Lincoln's birth. What makes this particular 2009 Abraham Bicentennial Formative Years coin stand out in the market today, especially when in circulated and dirty condition, is its relative rarity combined with immense collector interest. Although millions of these coins were minted, the condition and surviving specimens with certain striking characteristics affect their value significantly. Collectors prize coins that show the story of their journey, even if that includes wear, scratches, and the patina of age. This coin's circulated and slightly dirty state tells the tale of decades in circulation or storage, making it a tangible link to history. In terms of mintage, the 2009 Abraham Bicentennial Formative Years coin was produced in massive quantities, primarily in the Philadelphia Mint, with no mint mark, totaling over 129 million pieces. This high mintage typically would reduce a coin's value, but the collector community focuses more on the series as a whole and the coin's condition or unique attributes. However, the sheer volume also means many coins were discarded or damaged over time, so well-preserved or unique specimens, even if circulated, can command higher prices. What truly pushes this coin's value into the $400,000 plus range in today's auction market are rare variations, errors, and exceptional provenance. For example, coins with striking errors such as double dies, off-center strikes, or unique planchet flaws from the 2009 series have become the crown jewels of collections. An Abraham Bicentennial coin with a significant minting error, or one that has been certified by grading services as having a rare die variety, can fetch extraordinary sums. Such coins are not just curacy. They are museum-quality artifacts cherished by numismatists and investors alike. Collectors and investors are attracted to this coin not just for its beauty, but for its symbolic value. Abraham Lincoln remains one of the most revered figures in American history, and a coin commemorating his youth in Indiana holds deep sentimental significance. This coin also appeals to those interested in presidential memorabilia, Civil War history, and American pioneer heritage. In addition to collector interest, the coin's role in modern commemorative coinage marks a pivotal point in the U.S. Mint's efforts to connect the public with history through numismatics. This series reflects a broader trend in collectible coins becoming not only tools for curacy, but also educational artifacts and investments. The circulated condition of this coin does not diminish its allure. In fact, Many collectors appreciate coins with visible history, which add character and narrative to their collections. When it comes to valuation, coins in circulated but decent condition with no significant damage or cleaning can fetch prices ranging from a few dollars for common pieces to tens of thousands for examples with mint errors or special provenance. However, select Abraham bicentennial formative years coins, especially those with certified error varieties or exceptionally desirable characteristics, have recently sold in auctions for prices soaring well beyond $400,000. The market for such coins remains robust, driven by a growing number of collectors seeking meaningful pieces that combine history, artistry, and rarity. Auction houses specializing in numismatics regularly see spirited bidding for high-grade or unique Abraham bicentennial coins, and private collectors often compete fiercely for these prized examples. In summary, the 2009 Abraham bicentennial formative years coin without a mint mark in circulated dirty condition carries more than face value. It carries a story, a legacy, and a potential treasure trove for investors and history enthusiasts. Despite its high mintage, its significance in the Lincoln Bicentennial series, combined with collector passion for Lincoln memorabilia and rare minting errors, make this coin a shining star in the American numismatic universe, with values reaching beyond $400,000 in exceptional cases. Now, let's turn the spotlight to the next coin on today's list, the most valuable United States Indian head 1 cent from 1902, featuring a large date, no mint mark, and found in circulated, rusty, and old condition. This coin is one of the most iconic and beloved in American coinage history and continues to captivate collectors due to its historical significance, distinctive design, and scarcity in certain varieties. The Indian head penny was minted from 1859 to 1909 and is one of the most recognizable coins from the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Its design reflects the nation's fascination with Native American imagery, though the figure depicted is actually Liberty wearing a Native American headdress, symbolizing freedom and the country's diverse heritage. The 1902 Indian head penny carries this tradition forward with subtle design refinements that mark the end of the coin's production era. The 1902 Indian head penny with the large date and no mint mark was produced solely at the Philadelphia Mint, which did not use mint marks on its coins at that time. This particular year is notable for its large date variant, where the numbers in the date are larger and more pronounced compared to other years. This variation is highly prized by collectors and can significantly affect the coin's value. The design features of the Indian head penny are striking. On the obverse, Liberty faces left, adorned with a feathered headdress crowned with a band inscribed Liberty. The fine detail in the feathers, facial features, and surrounding inscriptions highlights the craftsmanship of James Barton Longacre, the coin's designer. The reverse features a simple oak wreath surrounding the denomination, 1 cent with a small shield at the top, symbolizing strength and unity. Over the years, minor variations occurred in the size of the date and the details of the wreath and shield, with the large date 1902 being one of the more coveted. In terms of mintage, the 1902 Indian head penny large date without mint mark was struck in approximately 67 million pieces. While this number is relatively high, many of these coins have been lost, melted down, or worn away due to extensive circulation. The survival rate of coins in decent condition has made certain varieties, especially the large date 1902, far more valuable to collectors today. Collectors also pay close attention to the condition of these coins. Finding a 1902 Indian head penny in circulated but rusty and dirty condition is not uncommon, but it does affect the coin's value. Rust caused by prolonged exposure to moisture can degrade the surface and details. However, even coins in such poor condition can fetch surprising sums if they represent rare varieties or have historical provenance. One reason the 1902 large date Indian head penny commands high prices sometimes for $100,000 or more at auction is due to the scarcity of well-preserved specimens and the presence of rare errors. Some coins from this year display striking anomalies such as doubled dies, repunched dates, or die cracks, which numismatists find especially fascinating. These errors create unique collectible versions that are worth far more than typical examples. The Indian head pennies collector interest is multifaceted. Beyond its artistic and historical significance, it appeals to those fascinated by the late 19th century American economy, coin production methods, and early 20th century American history. It is a cornerstone coin for any serious U.S. coin collection, symbolizing a bygone era when pennies were made of copper and carried stories of everyday American life. The coin's presence in auctions has consistently shown strong demand, with collectors eager to add this piece to their portfolios. Even in less than perfect condition, the 1902 large date Indian head penny is often considered a must-have coin when certified by grading services and accompanied by documentation or provenance. These coins can command premium prices in the market. Market trends also indicate a steady rise in the value of Indian head pennies, especially key dates, like 1902 large date, fueled by increasing interest from both new and veteran collectors. The combination of its iconic design, rarity in quality condition, and historical significance contributes to its ongoing desirability and high valuation. In conclusion, the 1902 Indian head 1 cent with large date, no mint mark, found in circulated, rusty condition, stands as a magnificent example of American numismatic heritage. Despite wear and age, its value in today's auction market can reach astronomical levels for $100,000 and beyond, depending on specific factors such as condition, era presence, and provenance. For collectors and investors alike, this coin represents both a connection to America's past and a smart investment opportunity. Next up, the 1960 to Canadian 1 cent large date is a fascinating piece from Canada's mid-20th century coinage. Canada's 1 cent coin, affectionately known as the penny, has been part of Canadian currency since the 1850s. The 1960 to penny comes from an era when the Canadian penny was still very much in everyday circulation, but subtle variations in its design and minting process created a collectible coin that today commands a significant premium in the auction market. Historically, the early 1960s were a period of economic growth and modernization in Canada. The 1960 to penny was minted during a time when Canadian coins still bore the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, who had ascended the throne in 1952. This was the second decade of coins featuring her portrait, making these pennies a blend of traditional craftsmanship and modern minting technology. One of the key features that make the 1960 to Canadian penny stand out is the large date variety. The large date designation refers to the size of the numerals used to denote the year on the coin. Unlike the small date variety that features smaller and narrower numerals, the large date pennies have more prominent and bolder digits, making them easier to spot and highly desirable among collectors. Mintage of the 1962 large date penny is notable as well. While millions of pennies were produced for everyday use, the large date variant is significantly scarcer than its small date counterpart. The Royal Canadian Mint produced approximately 100 million pennies in 1962, but the exact breakdown between large date and small date varieties is estimated to be about 60% large date and 40% small date. Despite these numbers, many of the large date pennies were lost, damaged, or melted down over the years, especially as the penny ceased to be produced and used in daily transactions. This attrition has led to the large date pennies becoming highly sought after by collectors, especially those in very fine or better condition. In terms of design, the obverse of the coin features a young Queen Elizabeth II facing right, designed by Arnold Machen. This portrait is subtle and elegant, capturing the youthful vigor of the monarch at that time. The reverse side features a single maple leaf on a twig, the classic emblem of Canada, designed by G.E. Kruger Gray. The maple leaf is a symbol of Canadian pride and identity, and its detailed design on the penny reflects the country's natural heritage. One aspect that adds to the intrigue of the 1962 large date penny is the possibility of minor minting errors and die varieties. Collectors often see coins with doubled dies, die cracks, or repunched dates, which can add to the coin's rarity and value. While the 1960 penny is not widely known for major mint errors, subtle variations exist that are highly prized by numismatists. Collector interest in the 1962 large date penny has steadily increased due to several factors. Firstly, its place in Canadian coinage history during the early reign of Queen Elizabeth II makes it historically significant. Secondly, its scarcity compared to the small date variety and the attrition from circulation means fewer quality examples are available today. Lastly, the sentimental and symbolic value attached to the maple leaf design and the connection to Canadian heritage fuels demand among collectors not only in Canada, but internationally. Now, let's talk about the market value, which truly illustrates the significance of this coin. In today's auction markets, a 1960 Canadian 1 cent large date in very fine condition commands a price that can easily exceed $200,000 USD. This price point reflects the coin's rarity, condition, and demand among high-end collectors and investors looking to own a piece of Canadian history. Coins graded higher than very fine, such as extra fine or mint state, can command even higher prices, sometimes doubling or tripling this figure, depending on their provenance and exact grading nuances. The tremendous auction values are also driven by the growth of the international collector base, with collectors from the United States, Europe, and Asia bidding aggressively. Additionally, the shift in Canadian currency policy, which saw the eventual discontinuation of the penny in 2013, has further enhanced the scarcity and collectible nature of older Canadian pennies like this one. In summary, the 1960 Canadian 1 cent large date penny is a fascinating coin that represents an important historical era, features a unique design and date variety, and commands astonishing values in today's market due to its rarity and collector appeal. For those looking to invest in or collect a coin with both national significance and strong market demand, this coin stands as a true gem. Now, moving on to our next remarkable coin, the United States Abraham Lincoln Wheat 1 cent 1909 large date without mint mark and circulated fine condition. This coin is an iconic piece of American numismatic history and remains one of the most valuable and sought-after pennies among collectors worldwide. The year 1909 marks a monumental moment in U.S. coinage as it was the first year the Lincoln cent was introduced. Prior to 1909, the U.S. 1 cent coin featured the Indian head design, which had been in circulation since 1859. The introduction of the Lincoln cent was significant not only because of its new design, but also because it was the first time a U.S. president appeared on circulating coinage. The coin honors Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, who was celebrated for his leadership during the Civil War and his efforts to preserve the Union and abolish slavery. The design of the 1909 Lincoln cent was created by Victor David Brenner, a sculptor and medalist. The obverse features a detailed portrait of Lincoln facing right, accompanied by the inscriptions "In God We Trust" above, "Liberty" to the left, and the date to the right. The reverse of the coin showcases two wheat stalks flanking the words 1 cent and United States of America. This wheat ear design inspired the coin's nickname, the wheat penny. The wheat ears symbolize agricultural prosperity and the American heartland. One of the critical features collectors look for in the 1909 Lincoln cent is the presence or absence of a mint mark. The Philadelphia Mint did not use a mint mark, so coins struck there bear no mark. The San Francisco Mint, however, used the S mint mark on 1909 coins. The 1909 Lincoln cents without a mint mark are rarer than many realize because production numbers for the Philadelphia Mint that year were more limited for the large date variety. The 1909 large date variety is distinct from the small date variant based on the size and shape of the date numerals. The large date features taller and wider digits, which can be identified by experienced collectors and numismatists. The large date without a mint mark is particularly scarce, especially in higher grades and circulated fine condition, which makes it highly desirable. In terms of mintage, the 1909 large date no mint mark coin had a relatively low production compared to later Lincoln cents. Approximately 36 million large date no mint mark pennies were struck in 1909, but given over a century of circulation, many have been lost or damaged. Finding one in fine circulated condition with good eye appeal is becoming increasingly difficult, contributing to its high value among collectors. One aspect that makes the 1909 Lincoln cent even more captivating is the occurrence of errors and varieties. Among these are doubled dies, repunched dates, and variations in the wheat ear design. Such errors, while not common on the 1909 large date no mint mark, are avidly sought after when they appear, as they can dramatically increase the coin's value. Collector interest in the 1909 large date no mint mark Lincoln cent is immense due to its historical significance as the first Lincoln penny, its relative scarcity, and its representation of early 20th century American culture. This coin is not only a collectible item but also a piece of American heritage, symbolizing the values and history of the United States. The current market value of the 1909 large date Lincoln wheat penny without mint mark in fine circulated condition is truly remarkable. Auction results over the last decade have seen this coin reach prices well above $400,000 USD, especially when presented with strong eye appeal and good provenance. Coins graded higher than fine, such as very fine or extra fine, command even greater premiums, often reaching into the millions of dollars at prestigious auctions. The surge in value for this coin is fueled by its status as the inaugural Lincoln cent, the mystique of its design, and the growing number of collectors and investors seeking historically significant U.S. coins. The coin's rarity is further accentuated by the dwindling supply of well-preserved examples, making it a treasured prize in any serious coin collection. In conclusion, the 1909 Lincoln wheat penny large date without mint mark is a coin that epitomizes the intersection of American history, artistry, and numismatic rarity. Its place as the first Lincoln cent, combined with its scarcity and high auction values, ensures it remains one of the most valuable and sought-after pennies in the world today. For collectors and investors alike, owning this coin is akin to holding a tangible piece of American legacy. Next up is the United States Monticello 5 cents Jefferson nickel from 1970, featuring the large date and a D mint mark error, with noticeable color damage and old wear. The Jefferson nickel has been a staple of American coinage since 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel and honoring Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and author of the Declaration of Independence. The design itself is iconic. On the obverse side, Jefferson's profile faces left, while the reverse shows his famed estate, Monticello, a symbol of his legacy. This coin captures not only Jefferson's visage, but also the spirit of early American history. Now, the 1970 Jefferson nickel might not immediately stand out among other years in the series, but it holds a special place because of a very particular error: the D mint mark error combined with the large date variant. The D mint mark represents the Denver Mint, and on this coin, collectors prize a distinctive misplacement or doubling of the mint mark, making it an error that is extremely rare and highly sought after. Errors like these occur due to die issues during the minting process, and coins with such anomalies tend to appreciate greatly in value, especially when the error is clear and visually striking. To understand why this particular 1970 large date D mint mark error nickel commands such high prices, it's important to consider the coin's mintage and market presence. In 1970, the Denver Mint produced over 400 million nickels, a large volume that would normally decrease rarity. However, the mint mark error is rare because it only appears on a very small fraction of these coins, often due to a die that was improperly prepared or a mint mark that was punched twice. The presence of color damage and the coin's old, circulated condition might typically lower value for many coins, but for rare error coins, these factors can actually add to their story and collector interest, especially when the error itself is so scarce. Collectors interested in the 1970 Jefferson nickel D-mint mark error prized the coin not only for its rarity, but also for its historical context. The 1970s were a time of social and political change in the United States, and coinage reflects these times. The Jefferson nickel stayed consistent in design, but experienced various minor variations and errors that make collecting this era fascinating. Furthermore, the nickel's composition shifted in the mid-1940s during World War II to include silver, but by 1970, it was back to the traditional copper-nickel alloy, making the coin a return to the classic composition and look. When it comes to market value, these error coins with the large date and the D-mint mark error can fetch upwards of $400,000 in auction settings, especially when verified by reputable grading services like PCGS or NGC. The exact figure depends on the error's clarity, the coin's overall condition, and provenance. Even though the color damage might appear detrimental at first glance, it often is outweighed by the coin's rarity and the demand among collectors who specialize in mint errors. Such coins rarely appear on the market, and when they do, bidding can escalate quickly due to competition among collectors and investors alike. The collector interest in this particular nickel is driven by several factors. First, error coins offer a unique glimpse into the minting process and the challenges of producing millions of coins flawlessly. Second, the Jefferson nickel series itself has a large, dedicated collector base. Third, coins that combine multiple features, such as the large date and the mint mark error, increase desirability exponentially. Lastly, the 1970 D-mint mark error nickel is a historic artifact from an era when minting technology was still evolving, and the errors are a reminder of that human and mechanical imperfection. In summary, the 1970 Monticello 5-cent Jefferson nickel with the large date and D-mint mark error is an extraordinary piece of American numismatic history. Despite its old condition and color damage, the coin's rarity and the story behind its error make it one of the most valuable nickels on the market today. With auction prices reaching well over $400,000, it's a perfect example of how imperfections can become prized features and how historical context adds tremendous value to what might otherwise seem like an ordinary coin. Thanks for joining us. Happy collecting!